Hello everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. I hope you're all well today. It is a gorgeous, sunny, beautiful spring day here in Northwest Connecticut. And I've just come in from outside where I've collected a rainbow of flowers to share with you. Everything's really starting to grow like mad, even though there is some snow in the forecast, so we'll see what happens with that. But the chickens are out. We've had some further rooster adventures. I had to retire Otello from King of the Flock because he is not feeling well. So Elvis has stepped in, and this seems to be going pretty well. And sadly, we had a bear visit, and he opened the bottom of one of the chicken tractors. The wood was getting pretty old and soft, and he just pulled that little board away, and Philippe Petit has escaped. So hopefully, we don't know, we hope he escaped the jaws of the bear, but there has not been a peep or a feather or any indication of his being around. So he's off onto his next adventure. He was a rescue chicken that my neighbor found while she was walking through a field late last year. And she called me to see if it was one of my chickens, and it was not. But I did go and find him. He ran right over to me. He was so happy to be rescued. And so he spent the winter here, but now he's on to his own adventures. So we wish him well. So let's look at these beautiful flowers that I found for you today. So I have here, let me just get my hair pulled out of the way back. There we go. So I have here some forsythia. Okay, so here is the beautiful forsythia. And then I have a narcissus with its beautiful trumpet, almost orange, bright yellow. And then I have also a Lenten rose. So you remember when we did the Christmas roses, and they were white. Well, this is the same species of flower. This is a hellebore, but this is one that blooms later, closer to Easter time. And this one has these kind of deep red, violet, maroon striations in the petals. And it's got this wonderful center, which hopefully we'll be able to get a view of that during the painting. And that's some more leaves that go with that. This is a leaf, a baby small leaf from the Alchemia mollis plant, and it's just such a pretty leaf. It has all of these kind of scalloped lobes, and then it has these toothed edges, these serrated edges, and you probably can't see it here, but it's fuzzy. And this is the leaf that catches the water droplets and makes them look like silver or mercury when the dew is on the leaf. And then I also have some scilla. So this is the beautiful blue scilla, and it's kind of on its way out, but I wanted to get some blue in the picture. And then I have a one of the leaves from the narcissus. So there is our subject, a beautiful rainbow of spring flowers. All right, and I thought what I would do today is to make a long kind of a border picture. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to put these back into my water here while I'm getting ready. And then what I'll do is I'll take them out one by one as I'm ready to paint them. Obviously, with so many different flowers today, I'm not going to be able to do a very careful rendering of each one, but we can get an impression of the overall arrangement. So this is a piece of hot press watercolor paper. I'm going to get out my plexiglass for this. See if I can adjust the light so that we don't have that reflection and glare going on here. Well, I guess we're going to have a little. Let's see. Well, let's try it without the lights, see how that looks. That's not bad. We'll go with the natural light today because I don't want you to have that glare in your eyes. Now, before we get started, I'm going to take another bite out of my lunch and show it to you. This is blueberries, banana, and walnuts. So delicious. So I'm getting back into my healthy eating for the spring. Lighting is always the trickiest part, but it's also the most important part. So take your time to get your lighting the way it works best for you. Of course, you're not always going to have to worry about the camera picking up reflections, but if you can set set up near a north light window, that's always the best. I'm just picking out a few of the prominent petals and just kind of getting the overall gesture. And I know you probably can't see that very well. Let me see if I can go a little bit darker. I don't want to go too dark. I just want a very light sort of pencil line to guide me to make sure that I stay within the area that I want the design to be. And I know you probably to guide me. Uh-oh. There we go. Hi, Abby. All right, so just a few lines. That's good. And now I'm going to get my Narcissus. And I'm particularly interested in the color of the trumpet because it's this nice, rich, orangey, deep yellow. And this little exercise is going to be all about color today. Alright, there's my narcissus, and I'll get that little bit of that stem. Here's my mollis leaf. And let's see. If we look at this closely, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections with a scallop at the end of each one. So pretty. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then get some of those veins that radiate out from the center. Here's my Narcissus leaf. That's very pretty. Gives a beautiful sense of movement to the design. Kind of a an S curve. So I'll put that in. And the Scylla, such a beautiful blue. This is really a true blue flower. There's not too many of those, but this is definitely one of them. And if we look closely at the Scylla, we can see it has 6 petals. Yeah. As I said earlier, they are past their prime, but you can get a better look at the seed capsule forming in the center, which is also very interesting. So we can get a little of that going on. And I think I'm going to add an extra one because I want a little more blue, so I'm just going to use my imagination and add another one at this end, and I think I'll put another one at this end as well. So don't be afraid to design. That's your job. You're the designer. The idea is not to copy what you see, but to use what you see as inspiration. Alright, so there are those. Now I'm going to take my beautiful Lenten rose. Now let's see if we can get this arranged so I can see down into the inside. That works. And the center of these flowers are so ornate. There's all sorts of shapes and colors, and embellishments. They're really quite extravagant. You remember it was the Christmas rose, the white hellebore, that was blooming underneath the snow. And I went out and I dug down into the snow where I knew they were blooming, and sure enough, there were a whole patch of those beautiful things. So if you missed that video, you can go back, and I believe on my YouTube channel, which is Dandelion Cottage, I think you can even see the live video where I went outside and I dug into the snow to find the Christmas rose. Alright, so there's my overall design. It's looking a little bit blank over here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another spray of Scilla going up in this direction. There we go. And do a couple of these in profile. Alright, that works. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my paper, I'm going to spritz it off to the side. Now this is, as I mentioned, this is the very fine quality watercolor paper, but it's thin. It's 90 pound. So, so it should dry fairly quickly. I'm just giving a couple more spritz here if I can get my spritzer to work. There we go. All right. Now I also have my, so far all I've used is my kneaded eraser and a number 2 pencil. I've got a couple of brushes here. So these are watercolor brushes. I've got a 7 and a 4, and then I've got my paints, red, yellow, and blue. Those are the only 3 colors I'm going to be using today. And I just want to mix up a puddle of yellow. So I'm going to grab a paper towel and clean my palette a little bit. It's getting a little out of control here in the yellow department, so give that a quick wipe. Alright, and so now I'm just going to take a very dilute yellow mixture. I'm just going to let that splash around. Like so. I'm taking some blue and then finally I'll grab some red. And then in the center of my my Lenten rose, I can get a little bit of a warmer tone. I hope you can see that all right. Maybe you get this better on the camera frame. There you go. All right, so now I'm just going to start painting. That is what I would call my underpainting. I'm going to mix up a little bit of green with my yellow and blue. Get that started. There you go. I'm mixing my red and my yellow together to get some orange. My Narcissus. And I think you can see I'm painting very lightly, so I'm not in a hurry at this point to go too dark, but I will begin to add a little more value. And I'm just kind of working all over. I'm not I'm not concentrating on any one place right now. I just want to get a kind of an overall design. Now these forsythia blossoms have a lot of green in those petals. They're bright yellow, but there's a lot of green in there too. And I can also see a little bit of that stem from the forsythia. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a kind of a warm brown and indicate some of that. And my hellebore has some kind of a red-violet tone. This kind of thing would also make a great Mother's Day card. So if you've got some Mother's Day cards that you want to make up this year, this is a really fun, joyous way of celebrating mothers in spring. I hope the light's okay for you, that you can see this well enough. And now I'm just working on getting more detail. I'm not going to go too far because otherwise we'd be here all day, and I don't think you want to do that. Alrighty, and then let's start getting some of the shadow areas on that forsythia. So for this, I'm taking a stronger yellow, and I'm going to add a touch of green to kind of get that green tinge. See how that looks. So I'm just kind of getting the calyx of these flowers where the greenish portion is, and also I can see some little buds in there as well. Little green buds. So I'll put a couple of those in. And I'm just using the tip of my brush. I'm still using the larger brush, but in a couple of minutes I'm going to switch to my smaller brush as I prepare to put more and more detail in here. And I want to get some of these pleats in this beautiful alchemia. So I can just stroke some lines on here. And capture the the way the petals are all kind of gathered in these wonderful pleats. And I can also add some of the little indication of the serrated edges of the flowers. I'm sorry, the leaves. There we go. And let's get after the petals on this narcissus. These also have a greenish tinge to them. There we go. I don't know if you can hear the robins singing outside. It's just so lovely. The chickadees are outside my window every morning. There's a phoebe. There's a new bird this morning. I don't even know what it was. I'm not so great at identifying all my bird song. Oh, that's a rooster. Everybody's got to get into the act. That's Otello. Yeah, he's not feeling so well. I don't know if he ate a bad bug or I just don't know. Chickens have incredible recuperative powers, and if you give them a chance to heal, they have a very good chance of pulling through. But also because they are prey to so many animals, they hide their illnesses extremely well because they don't want to be perceived as weak or vulnerable. So I didn't realize he was sick until he was really not feeling well at all, and so he's in house care right now. He's getting lots of extra vitamins, good food. He's resting. Today I think I'll get him out into the sunshine, and that should make him feel better too. But he had a kind of a seizure last night, and I don't know what that means. But it wasn't good. All right, so I'm about halfway through here, and I'm not going to keep you on till the finish, but I think that what you see me do here is one way that you can start a nice arrangement of flowers like this. So I would recommend that you work from light to dark and just kind of keep it loose. And as you go along, you can add as much or as little detail as you choose. And if you'd like to learn more about watercolor painting and how to mix your colors, how to control your values, the overall design, how to manage the water to paint ratio, all those kinds of things, check out my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com, and if you go there you will find a tab where you can subscribe to my newsletter called Notes, and I'm going to have a 6-week watercolor course coming up starting in May. And if you get onto my mailing list with Notes, I will send you the announcement as we get closer to that day. And it's a very comprehensive course. Each lesson goes much more deeply into a number of the things that I've mentioned here today. And you'll get a list of all the materials that you'll need, just a few, not a lot. I keep it very simple so you don't have to spend a lot of money. You just need just a few basic materials to get started. And you will be well on your way to being able to capture all of the spring and summer flowers this season. Okay, and then there's also information on the website for the Watercolor Card Club, and the Watercolor Card Club is a monthly kit that I will send you that will enable you to paint 4 different note cards, and there's a video each month of a different subject. So the video this month for May is poppies, and for those of you who are waiting for that to come out, it's going to come out very soon. And I think that's all the news I've got to share with you today. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope I've encouraged you to get your paints or your colored pencils or just a pencil and paper and go out and find yourself a beautiful spring flower and bring it in and just start studying your subject, getting to know it, and painting a beautiful picture. It's a lot of fun. So stay well, stay creative, and I will see you next on Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time for Paper Crafting Saturday.